it's DJ from the Bookish Den, and finally we have a YouTube video. I am so excited about this. I've only been talking about wanting to do YouTube for 8 years. Queen of procrastination. But that's okay, because now we've started and now we're here. And I would like to ask you, if you are watching this, please hit that subscribe button and the little bell so you'll be notified for all of our new videos. We are really excited for all that we have planned for this channel. And yeah, so let's get started. Today we are going to talk about something really, really cool and a question I get asked all the time. Now, I am an ambassador for BookShark. I absolutely love and adore this curriculum. It works really well for our family, but not in the way that you might think. BookShark is a box curriculum, and right now we are using their history, their literature, and their science. With that being said, you must also know that we are a very unschooling type eclectic family. I do not use BookShark the way that it comes in the box. We really color outside the lines when it comes to this curriculum, and it's why I love this curriculum, because there is so much room to do what works for your family. So if you've been intimidated by trying out a box curriculum or a workbook type curriculum, maybe this video will give you a few different ideas on how it can actually fit into your more eclectic style of homeschooling. A little background, we have 5 children. The older 4 are in school right now. We have a 10-year-old, an 8-year-old, a 5-year-old, and a 4-year-old. My 4 and 5-year-old do preschool, but there's a lot of this that they actually sit in on. And then my older ones are, anywhere from 3rd to 5th grade, depending on the subject. But this curriculum, this science, the 2 bigger kids do together. The little ones sit in on a lot of the reading. They don't do the workbooks. So let's jump in, and I'm going to show you what comes in the curriculum, and then I'm going to show you how we actually use it. So for this, we have level 3 in the BookShark science. This is for ages 8 to 11. BookShark really goes by ages, not by grades, which is why it works really, really well for our family. Because of having a large family, I'm not having to buy a ton of curriculum at one time in order to make sure that they're all on track. This type of curriculum can be used on multiple children in multiple age ranges. You just give them more or less work depending on where they're at. So the subject matter for science curriculum is biology, taxonomy, and human anatomy. Now we are about 1/3 of the way through this curriculum, so we have not touched on human anatomy just yet. A little bit in the biology sections, but right now they're focusing a lot on taxonomy and just studying animals, which is so much fun. So this is the teacher's manual, and it comes already hole punched, but I just put it in a binder, and it has everything you need. It has all the answers for the worksheets. Now, if you do have multiple children, you will need to order multiple worksheets. It comes with one set, and then you just, buy for whoever you need. And we put them in binders as well. And as you can see, they're just worksheets. Really, really simple to kind of make sure that they understood what they read. Really helps with reading comprehension. Now, we're only going to cover what comes in the curriculum that focuses on more of the taxonomy part of it, because that's what I want to show you. That's the segment that we're in right now, and I'm going to show you how we use it in our family. So here's the biology level 1. This is kind of like the teacher's guide. It's what you read. You don't read this every day. You don't even read it every week, but this is one that we read out of. The one we have been focusing on the most has been this Usborne Mysteries and Marvels of Nature. And I have been a huge fan of Usborne books for an extremely long time. And so I love that the curriculum comes with Usborne books. You get the first encyclopedia of seas and ocean, also by Usborne. And you get the Usborne Science Encyclopedia and these just have tons and tons of information. Now, I know if you are a more classical or Charlotte Mason style homeschooler, you're probably like, oh my gosh, that's not going to work for our family. Just breathe and hear me out on how this can really work, even if you are a more classical or Charlotte Mason based homeschooler, because we tend to lean a lot towards Charlotte Mason's theology, or her theology, her ideology. I love how she views homeschooling. We did an entire Charlotte Mason curriculum last year, and it just didn't really work for our family. It just wasn't what my kids needed. And after homeschooling for 5 years, I have really started to focus on not the way that I want to teach or how I learn, but how do they learn. And that led us to BookShark. It led us to a more eclectic style, because with having so many children, they all learn completely different ways. So I had to figure out the best way for our family, and going more eclectic works more than sticking to just one ideology. Typically with BookShark, you will read segments of these various books, and then you answer questions. It's very, very simple. It doesn't take a lot of time, but my kids love this curriculum. They love learning about the animals, but it wasn't enough. So we started to branch out from the curriculum and using the curriculum as a spine and more as a guideline rather than just all that we were doing. So one of the things that I started adding in was just picture books, because this enabled the younger kids to sit in and get some of that information too. And some of my favorites that we have used are these Let's Read and Find Out Science books. This one is on bats, and this is the stage 2 ones. And anytime I find these at the thrift store, I pick these up. If you are wanting a more living book style, these work really, really great. Another living book are these Smithsonian's Backyard books. And again, if I find these at the thrift store, I always pick them up. The pictures are beautiful. Beautiful. And it is in living book format. I have one on bats, and we have another one on otters. So depending on, again, what we are learning about, and determines what we read. Also the salamander room, just again for that exposure to reptiles. We read stories like this. This is again how I bring in my little kids. We really enjoy these. The kids don't even feel like they're doing school. I love this series. This is the Ordinary People Change the World series. I get these off of thrift books. This is I Am Jane Goodall. Look at the pictures. They're so colorful and fun. And so I tried to do these type of biographies. And so when we haven't gotten to monkeys yet, or gorillas. So when we do, this is one of the books that we will tag along with that segment. The Who Was books are really great too, for bringing in even more information as far as a biography about someone in this kind of field. I pick up these activity books. I bought 4 of these, and I actually got these from Ollie's for about $3. If you don't have an Ollie's, I am really sorry, but we hit up Ollie's like once a month, and we end up coming home with quite a bit of activity books or even just regular books to read. It's absolutely one of my favorite places, but I got these, and this one is just a sticker book, but it's based on biomes. It shows a biome, and then they have to fill in the animals that live in that biome. They have to go and find the stickers of the right animals. So I really like that. It's just fun. These are great too if we're having a really busy day, if I'm having to do work, or I might just not be feeling well. The kids can grab these and they'll sit and read through these for hours. Now, these are very similar to the books that come in the BookShark curriculum. Here are some foreign beginner readers of all different types of animals. Again, these are really great for my new readers, for them to read out loud to the family. And it just helps with their reading, but it also gives them a little bit more information because these are very similar to the bigger books that come in where it's lots of facts and information. This is a kind, when I find them at the thrift store, I buy them. I found these at the thrift store as well. These are the Animal Lives books, and these are, each one is based on one particular animal. Same setup, lots and lots of information, and so it just kind of stacks that information about the animals on top of each other, and the next thing you know, the kids are in really deep conversations, usually with one another, about what they like, what they don't like. Oh, I couldn't believe that the animal did this, I didn't know this, and it just builds up the communication with one another, or again, they don't feel like they're actually doing these DK books. I mean, I feel like every homeschooler has a slew of these in their arsenal. Lots and lots of facts, lots of great, usually photographs. These aren't typically drawn or illustrated. It's usually lots of really great photographs. My kids sit around these books. Anytime I find them, we have quite a few. They will, they'll just sit for hours and just consume that information, and I love that. So then when we end up talking about these, they bring up the stuff that they have already read, which is really exciting. Now, I find these at the thrift store all the time, and if you're a homeschooler, look for these because they are a great find. And that's these big coffee table books. I feel like these are gone. Do people have coffee tables anymore? We don't. With that being said, these tend to be super, super cheap. People are getting rid of them all the time, but the photographs in here, I mean, come on. They are great. It's almost like watching Blue Planet. And again, these books really intrigue my kids. Oh man, I mean, look at that. Really, really gorgeous. And so when we're talking about animals, especially specific types of animals, if we're talking about how mammals hunt, and the kids really want to see them and get that up close look at them, we can't always just head off to the zoo. And I don't always want to use television as a way to do that, even though we do. We watch Blue Planet. We go on YouTube and we watch a lot of things and animals. Getting them to sit around a book like this is really exciting. Again, anytime I see these really big picture books, I've got a huge one on human anatomy, and it's like super big. I think I bought it for $6. So don't turn your nose up at coffee table books when you see them at yard sales and thrift stores. You can get them really cheap, and they fit in really well as just a way for your kids to start consuming visual parts. No, that's not what I want to say. Your kids can... Don't turn your nose up at coffee table books, because this is a great way just to get your kids even interested in the subject before you dive into it. And I mean, they're just really pretty to look at. Next is the last thing that we have been doing with BookShark, and this was kind of something I came up with on a complete whim, and that was we started to learn about some birds. And we live in North Carolina, and we get quite a few birds in our front yard that the kids love to look at. And the first bird that we learned in the curriculum was about a robin, which are very prevalent where we live. So I thought, hey, why don't we learn about some more? So I picked up these Fun with Nature take-along guides. There's two. There's Fun with Nature and More Fun with Nature. And these actually have an entire section on birds, and I'm probably not going to be able to find it. Oh, here we go. So I'm going to go all the way to the beginning. All right, so it has a segment called Birds, Nests, and Eggs. And as you can tell, it has a little introduction here. Oh, something sticky. And the American robin was the first, and we had already read quite a bit on the robin, so we read this again. And then what I had the kids do is I had these blank books. Now you could bind your own notebooks, you could use a regular notebook. I just happened to have these, and I want to say I got these at Target a while back in the dollar section, but they're just blank books. So this is my daughter's, and so she made her own bird journal. And on the inside, she drew a nest with robin's eggs, and then she labeled it, and then she wrote a few sentences about what she had learned. It's almost like a nature journal, and that's what we have started to do with our birds. So we're learning about a different bird every week, every few days, whenever we have that extra time to want to add in some art. This is what we and so I let the kids go through these after we have read them, and they get to pick out whatever part they want to draw and label. We use these, The Nature Anatomy by Julia Rothman. I'm pretty sure, again, every homeschooler has this series in their collection. And I showed the kids what a nature journal could look like. And so they would sit and they would go through this and get kind of some ideas and inspiration on how they want to do their own books. And that's what we do. We use the BookShark curriculum as just a guidebook. It makes sure that I'm touching on the things that I need to touch on, because I'm going to be honest, I can't teach everything. I know that there are things that are important that they need to know, especially for state tests. Unfortunately, that is the world that we live in, so they do need to know certain things. However, it doesn't mean that using a curriculum like this limits us. It just keeps us on track, and it makes it a little bit easier on me, because I'm not having to make sure that gaps are being filled. BookShark enables there to be no gaps, because this is our guidebook. We're just diving in even deeper. So if you're looking for something that can keep you on track, if you are looking for something that is laid out, this is what you need to do every single day. BookShark is great for that. This is our history curriculum, and so it comes just like this every single day. It has the questions that I need to ask the kids. It has what they need to read, what I need to read. It makes it very simple. But by no means is this the end all of their education. BookShark is only a 4-day curriculum, so there's a lot of space there. However, there are times when we end up doing 3 days worth in one day. So then we have, we only have one more day worth of instructions from BookShark. So what do? Well, we go to our books, we pull out things to get even more information, which is what I'm telling you to do here. Then we do activity books, or we draw, or we watch videos, documentaries, or we go out. A great field trip for this would be the zoo, the aquarium. We have a science center. If you are close to the Charlotte area, there's Discovery Place. There's so many things that you can do to keep adding on and branching out, figuring out what your children respond to. I have one child who responds very well to reading, and I have another one that responds really well to doing worksheets. I have a few children who learn really well through hands-on things, or a combination of. So use that to your advantage. Use a curriculum like BookShark to give you guidance, but it doesn't have to keep you in a box just because it's a box curriculum. There you have it. There is how we here at the Bookish Den use a box curriculum with our eclectic homeschool. Hopefully this has given you some ideas, some great resources. Everything that you have seen here will be on the blog, links to everything. That way it would be easy to find. Actually finding BookShark and exactly everything that we are using. If you have any questions whatsoever, all you have to do is hit me up on the blog, Facebook, Instagram, wherever. I'm all over the place. You can find all of that also in the description box below. But thank you for checking out video number 1, and I will see you next time. Bye!